Welcome to Grow with Angie. I'm Angie and I'm going to be working on my Uncle Jim's Worm Factory 360. I have a beginning video on how to set these up when you first purchase them, and then in the summer I added a tray. So probably about every 6 months I'm really having to go in, kind of rework the worms, add trays. As you can see, I'm doing this in my beloved dining room and grow room because there is still snow on the ground and it's cold outside, and so I'm just gonna do it in here and probably make a mess. You can tell how deep these trays are, and then as we move up, they're quite squished together. My plan is to get all of these off, clean out the tray underneath because I know it is full of worm castings. I believe this whole bottom tray is all worm castings, and then these top two are where they are living and eating. And we're going to try and combine everything into the second tray, really lift that one up, and then use the top tray as a brand new fresh start. Now I got a little carried away and I bought this Coir brick, or CocoTek they call it, from General Hydroponics. Now General Hydroponics is what I use for my pH levels and a lot of my food for my hydroponic systems, and I really like this company and I trust their products. But I bought an 11-pound brick and I had to rip it open, and I used a really big knife to get in there and wiggle it back and forth and really try and break it apart. It was not easy, but I don't want to use this entire brick right now. And I added it into one of these garden totes. Now I love these garden totes because they're so squishy and they're easy to carry, but this is nice and full already of some of the Coco Coir that we're going to be using to add to the top tray. I'll bring the camera in so you guys can get a close look of what is inside and what's going on with my beloved worms. As you can see, I went back to using some brown paper bags, and that was because we put a lot of food in here that was quite rotten, and this really helps kind of break down the smell or block the smell from the worms. And here is all the food that they are working on right now. So we're going to slide this out, and there's going to be some worms hanging out the bottom. Now this is all worm casting, and I'm going to use just a pitchfork, and I'm going to go ahead and try and stir this up and break it up and kind of aerate it for them, and we'll see what's in here as far as worms. There are so many worms. This is solid. But you can see the size of the worms are actually quite small, and there looks like there's a little bit of food down there they're working on. But the worms tend to only grow to the size of their environment, and if they are not happy or don't have enough room, then they're not really going to get much bigger. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of stir these guys up, kind of break this soil apart. And don't worry if you hit a worm with your shovels, because it is just like being out in the garden. So now I'm going to remove this one and I'll stack it on my other one, and we'll go ahead and stir this one up. And this is 100% worm castings. Then I'm going to go ahead and move this tray, and the one underneath is what I am the most concerned about. And I'm going to use my little shovel to do that. Now this is the bottom tray that actually filters all of the water, and this is your water catching system. And I have quite a bit of water in here right now, and I can add these to any type of house plants, but this needs to all come out because it's really blocking the drainage. So this is going to get scooped, and I'm just going to move it over to this other container. And these little garden tools are absolutely adorable. I bought these for myself as a Christmas present, and I do have a review of these, and I will link that video below, and you can see everything that comes in this garden toolkit because there are a lot of really cool tools. It is this drain hole. Let's see if I can turn this around for you. And I'm gonna put my little water tank back under here because, or I could shut the valve. If you close the valve, you can shut that off as well. So I'm going to put this one back right here. So this will be our bottom level. And this is where they can hang out. And I'm going to try and get this tray up to the top. So when we put the next one, we don't have a huge gap between the trays, and we're really using or utilizing as deep of a tray as this one is. So that brought that up, so I'm really happy about that. Let me go around and pick up any escapees. I don't want to leave anybody out because they will just dry up and die if they don't have their moisture. Now we're just going to lay this one on top. And now you can see there's a significant gap difference between where my trays are now. So I really gave myself a lot of extra room between this one and this one. And now this is going to get their food. There's no way I could even count how many worms I have. And this is all from one purchase of the Uncle Jim's worms. So if they ever get where they're looking really, really thin, these are red wigglers. And so if they are getting thin, that it's either they don't have enough food or they don't have enough space to run around. I'm gonna add this Coco Coir to this and bring this level up a little bit. Now we'll put this one on top. Now you can see how much we really increased the level of this. Get back down there. Runaway worms. And these are the ones that fell out when it was on the lid. So make sure those guys get back in there. And then usually would add food to this level to encourage them to come up. But I'm gonna wait about a day or two to make sure they're eating what is down below. But I am gonna add the rest of this, and I'll kind of balance this all out. But you can see how messy and dirty this is. But that's all right, it's fun, right? And I'm gonna add some newspaper to the top of this. And then I've got some dirt on the top here I'll get off. And I'll go ahead and put this back on. These are a great addition to your home, to your homesteading. to go with all of your indoor gardening, your outdoor gardening. I highly recommend everybody try worm composting.